Hi, welcome. I'm Lisa Rangel with Chameleon Resumes, a premier executive resume writing company, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today, we're going to talk about the number one mindset shift that you need to make to successfully write your own executive resume. Now, sometimes people find it hard to believe that I'm an executive resume writer, I have an executive resume writing company, and yet I'm saying people can write their own executive resume. I'm a big believer that everyone, has options and you just choose the option that's best for you. And so I want to help you write your own resume if that you believe is the best option for you. So a common mistake that I see people make when they are writing their own resume is they tend to need to come from this place of proving themselves, and they want to list everything they've ever done. So this way, they can prove to the person who's reading it that they're worthy of the interview and the discussion. And I have to tell you that it's a mistake. And here's why. And the mindset shift that needs to happen when anyone is writing their own resume, and it happens when someone, hires a writer, because we help them do that shift. So I'm here to help you do it on your own. The mindset shift that you need to do when you're writing your own resume is away from, oh my God, I got to prove everything I've ever done to show that I'm worthy for this interview. You got to move towards, what does my audience want? What does my target job want? What does the person who is reading my resume want? That's the shift that you need to make. So I'm going to give you 3 or 4 ways that you can do that, and specific ways to meet the needs of the different readers that you're going to encounter as you circulate your resume once you write it. So, how do you do that, right? So the first thing is, I want you to think of a hiring manager's perspective. What problems are you going to fix if they hire you? So this way, that can help you. Every once in a while I get the question, like, how do I shorten my resume down to 2 pages? How do I know what to pick, out of all the things I've ever done? Which is a chronic problem when you have, 20 plus years of experience, right? If you shift to this, what does the hiring manager want question, now you can cherry pick your wins that are relevant to what that hiring manager wants. And that can help you whittle down, the clutter, the mental and written clutter on your resume, right? So that's one way to do it. A second way to do it is, we covered the hiring manager. The second way to do it is the corporate recruiter's perspective. What keywords are they going to use to find somebody like you? What communities are they going to go to find someone like you? Even outside of LinkedIn, right? Recruiters use all sorts of tactics and techniques to find people other than just searching for people on LinkedIn. So, how do you design your resume so you can be found in various pools and various communities and various databases? And when they open it, if you're emailing them directly, right? Think of the tactic too. Are you being found, or are you trying to gain attention? So if you're emailing someone in an unsolicited manner, where's their eye going to go? Right? The subject line, opening up the document, the name of the document. How do you format the top of the document to make sure they understand why they're reading it? So these are different things that you can factor in when you are, and then again, what does a corporate recruiter look for? They're trying to satisfy the requirements that the line managers, the hiring managers on the line have given them, and what to look for. So make sure you have what they need so they can check those boxes, and then go tell the hiring manager, you need to interview this person because they check all the boxes, right? So, and I'm obviously saying this in a very simplistic way, but this is another audience, right, of your target job that you need to factor into, because your resume will go from, a corporate recruiter to a hiring manager, or the other way around. If you reach out to a hiring manager directly, they're going to send it to a corporate recruiter running a search. Especially if you're reaching out to somebody at a company that isn't in charge of that area where you want to be, they're going to forward it to somebody else. And that very well could be, the hiring manager or the corporate recruiter. So those are some other perspectives. That's a second perspective to keep in mind. And then a third perspective to keep in mind is the executive search consultant. And, at risk of sounding crude, executive search consultants are paid on commission, whether they're retained, whether they're doing contingency or a mix, which, some have called contained, a mix of a contingency and a retained fee structure. They're paid on commission. They're paid, and so it's a crude question, but this is the question I suggest to clients to ask themselves and tell job seekers in general to ask themselves. If you're approaching an executive search firm recruiter, what are they looking for? Well, they're looking for candidates that can fill their roles, right? So outside of you being a good referral source, that's more of a networking tactic. But on your resume, if you were trying to get yourself considered for a position, it's not about, I want them to help me find a job. It's because that's not their job. Their job, think about it. Their job, an executive search consultant's job, is to find qualified talent for their client company who is paying them a fee to find that talent, right? If you happen to be that talent, the illusion is the executive search consultant is finding you a job, right? But in reality, they are delivering they are delivering a solution, a product, to their paying client. So factoring this in mind, again, at risk of being crude, how do you present yourself where it will be justifiable to that client company to pay a fee to that search consultant to hire you, right? So it doesn't mean you won't get hired if you are not hireable through a search consultant, right? Most hires are made through networking and employee referrals, social media contacts, and job postings. That's where, 80-85% of the hires happen, right? Only about 10 to 15% of hires happen through executive search consultants. But in the spirit of trying all the tactics, right? If you are going to be hired through an executive search consultant, that's an angle where you'll get a lot of play if you successfully answer that question when you are writing and designing your own resume. And if you can answer that question for an executive search consultant when they look at your resume, you're going to get some play. That's what you need to keep in mind. So these are three areas where you can, if you shift the thinking from what can I deliver to my reader, whoever that reader is, that will let them see I have what they need, versus I need to prove myself and I'm going to put all the things and the kitchen sink into this resume to show I got all the things to show how qualified I am. Different mentality, different mindset. And if you're writing your own resume or you do hire somebody like me, that's the shift, right? Again, this is a marketing document. It's not a job. It's not a background check application. It's not where you have to list everything you've ever done. This is a marketing document. So market yourself accordingly by cherry picking the wins, the recent relevant wins that your target audience, your target reader will want to see and satisfy in their minds that you have what they need. This is, and then lastly, I have actually a fourth one. So, whether this is number 4, this is a bonus to the 3, I don't know, you call it what you want. But the fourth or bonus item that I have for you, and this really applies to anyone, right? The hiring manager, coworkers, the corporate recruiter, the executive search consultant. But I think this last question really hones in on the people you might work with and work for directly at your target company. The question they ultimately have is hiring this person going to make my life easier? And frankly, if you're not even sure if that's if that's a question you never thought of and you're going through an interview process, I just want you to switch hats a minute when you've been the hiring manager. Ultimately, that's what you want, right? I mean, it's not just about being qualified. It's not just about, checking some boxes of qualifications that you think should happen in this next person. But ultimately, you're like, is this person going to make my life better, make my life easier, right, in executing the job? Or is this person going to make my life harder? And granted, sometimes harder is a good thing because it means you've done some work and now things are better and you've invested time. And that's, a decision to be made if you see that it's, worth investing and training. Maybe someone who doesn't have everything you need, but you see the potential. But in general, People want to hire people who are going to have a value add, right, to their life and not a detraction. So ask yourself, if this person hires me, are they going to feel that I'm going to make their job easier? And that to me is a universal question, that if you can articulate that in your resume through the wins that you choose, through the language that you choose, and frankly, even subliminally through the layout that you choose. If it's easy to read and easy to find things, and it's not so convoluted and crazy and, and flashy and, absence of substance, that to me sends a subliminal message of how you might be to work with. Are you constantly improving yourself? So, and that can get a little crazy at times, like for people, like it's hard to deal with. People just want people to show up to work and do the work and not always feel like they have to prove. So shift to what does that person need, and let me show them how I have it mentality. That is the big shift that I think I see people make when they're successful in writing their own resume. So I hope that helps. And if you have more questions, feel free to email me at lr@chameleonresumes.com or comment below. And also in the description, to help you with writing your own resume, I have my own interview generating resume template and instructions that I've created myself that have landed clients' interviews who have invested in it. So this way you have a good start in terms of knowing what you're buying was written by me, created by me, and is instructions that you can follow, and it has worked for many others. And you can see the testimonials on the page below. And this way you'll be, and now coupled with this video, you're in the right mindset and you'll be ready to rock and roll. So feel free to subscribe so you don't miss next week's video. And if you know someone who will benefit from this mindset shift, please share. Thank you so much and have a great day.